Hello RC fans, Racing 393. This is part 2 of my Probe VXI rebuild. In today's video, quite simply, we're going to put the centre brace back on that was broken, so I'll try and do a little bit of a repair on that. Servo holders, the sort of the centre part again, that's just screws back on nice and easy. The steering mechanism, what else was it? The brakes, the sort of the pivot things at the top. And then we're going to rebuild the shocks. The front shocks were on the car, as you saw in the last video. The rear shocks I've got, they came with some spares. They are old and probably worn. So, yeah, I don't know how good they'll be. Considering the size of the buggy, they've got skinny little shafts for the pistons on, you know, that go up and down in the shock themselves, the shafts. Yeah, I don't know. I can only do my best. I'll clean them out, put some new fresh oil in it, see if I've got any, if they've got seals. I don't know. I don't even know how old they are. So we'll see. But we'll get it up as a roller on the original wheels and tyres for now, ready for what will be part 3, which will be the engine. So this shouldn't be particularly long, if I'm hoping. So I will see you in the shed. Ta-da! We're back. Well, what the weather? What can we say? It's rubbish. God, rest some rain. Rain of biblical proportions in the UK. I don't know what is going on. Look, I say look, hoodie. It's not that cold in here though, 18 degrees, quite mild, but I've got my hoodie on because no other reason than just sitting here with my t-shirt, to be honest. Right, part 2. So you can see here we've refurbished the chassis, and it all kind of does what it's supposed to do. I've now got a couple of things here which I've cleaned. So the servo attachment bits, this centre brace, which is broken at the end there. See that crack? So I don't quite know what I'm going to do there. I might even have to hammer this straight, because it's still a bit sort of buckled. So there's that. This can probably go on the steering mechanism. So I've cleaned it off, kept it all together so I know where it goes. And this rubbish front bumper, because if you remember this was all bent up, so it's sort of like that. I don't see a reason why it can't go on like that. It looks better like that. Although, I don't know what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? All 1/8 buggies tend to have them like this, but I mean maybe that was supposed to be bent up and I just unbent it, but it's got loads of holes on this, like fixing holes. So this is just old. I might need to what? Scrape it so it's cleaner, the edges. It's like it's been trimmed with a, like I've done it. But anyway, that can go back there like that. I think it'll be alright for now. Having said that, because it's such a high front end, a buggy body shell, I'm just looking at the others I've got here, that's probably why actually it was like that, because if I'm honest, the body shell comes down here, doesn't it? You have it like that, there's going to be a massive gap. I'm looking at the other ones here, and they've all got flat, they've got different bumpers. It's just, this isn't the bumper that goes on here. I could buy one, I could get a Kyosho one, it would go on there. and curl up. But I think I might just, for now, clean it up and put it on there before we do that. So I think first off, I've got to work this out now. So I think we're going to put this on. Hoping it fits under that actually, which I hadn't actually thought about. So this does go back on, it can be clipped back on. So I'm going to do that first. And then this, then the brake pivots, and then that at the end. Right, let me do something. I've often wondered. No, I'm not going to go there. Right, I'll be back in a minute. Back on all fours. God, that was a bit of a nightmare. Jeez. Shocks next. Yeah, let me I didn't get this fixed here, the broken bit. Right, let me explain. So as I was saying, a lot of problems here. Well, they're all my fault. When putting the diff back together, the centre diff, I didn't realise, you might have been sharp in the other videos, but one of the shoes, you know, the pads that squeeze the disc, well, one of them fell out and I didn't notice, and I put it all back together. It was all like this, all back together, less the wheels, but I didn't realise that was missing, and because it wasn't on the bench, and I was looking in the bin, I was looking everywhere, I was like, where the hell's that gone? I don't remember it falling out. It was actually on the floor under the carpet. I've got a little mat or a runner. So anyway, I found it. But you can't get that in. You can't get that in with these cams, the bits that turn for the brake here. You have to dismantle everything. Fortunately, taking this top brace off, complete with the diff attached to it, does make it a lot easier. It is a real faff. The centre diffs are a real faff on most buggies. What else? So that was a bit of a disaster. You couldn't get these cam locks on, if you like, these bars with this centre brace all attached. You've got to take it off because of the angle of these screws. It does work. I mean, it's got a spring there. I think it's supposed to have a spring on this one, but it was missing, so we'll just rely on that one spring for now. The wheels and tyres are on, as you can see. The back diff, the rear diff, back diff is a bit too tight. I'm not too happy with that, but you know, it's not like the front one, nice and free. I've done it up too tight, but I can't be bothered to take it all apart again for now. No doubt I will. And finally, supposed to have some C-clips on there. I'm not going to need them unless I can find. I've got two here, but they're for the shocks. I'll have to see what size they are. Might get a couple, but anyway. At the end, you can see there and there maybe. There's screws that go in. Just self-tappers. Backs are okay. The fronts had snapped off. Maybe that's plastic, so they must have rusted to the aluminium or whatever this is. I think it's alloy. And snapped, but I didn't notice that when I was cleaning it. So I'm trying to screw in something with a snap. It's got a snapped thread in there. One was just proud, so I've got that out. The other one was ridiculous. So I've got it from the States. It's actually out of shot. It's to get broken bolts out. And the smallest one worked. Had to drill it and do whatever, and it came out. So I was able to put those screws in. As I've said, I didn't repair that bit there. It's fairly solid now. It could do with being repaired. I might get some liquid metal or something, or aluminium metal. I don't know.
almost aluminium metal, liquid aluminium, if there's such a thing. It's got to be something. So yeah, that's that back together. Looks good. Everything's free apart from that rear differential. As I said, it's not got a free up. It makes it almost like a solid rear axle. But the front one's like really super loose. It's got quite a lot of play in there anyway because of things are worn in the cups. But yeah. Anyway, on to my next favourite job. These, I'm going to trim this up as well. It's not the right bumper for this, by the way. It should, like most 1/8 buggies, should be up like that. That's why that was bent. Looking at all the others, they curve round more. So I'll put it on for now. I don't know where it goes like that. Just to get it out of the way more than anything, but yeah, these need to strip them down, give them a good clean, find out what's inside. I've got the rear ones in here. Are they the rear ones? No, they're other ones. They're not the rears. I think I've got the rear ones. I'll have to look. I've got some others back there which I'll look at. But yeah, so I'm going to crack on and I'll be back when I'm done. I like doing shocks. So cleaning those took way longer than it should have done. They were full of grease. Now they're full of grease because they leak. So I'm not going to hold too much faith. I think these were on the car anyway, the black ones. I think they work pretty well. So I might end up putting them on anyway. But in the meantime, I'm covered in grease still. My God, Jesus! Oh yeah, all that. Well, that was just a bit of it. It's like CV joint grease, but worse. Now, if it all leaks, I'll probably have to put a little bit of grease in them myself, but they were full of grease. And I don't mean Saturday Night Fever grease. Right, yeah, I'm not going to hold much hope, but let's try and put one together and see how we fare. So I've sort of put this shock together. It's not oiled, but this is on a different shock that I had a different sort of piston fitting on the end. That's not the correct piston, because that's the correct piston. They're a little bit bigger. So that's the original. This just looks like a Tamiya CVA piston in there. You can probably see the end there. But this bar was bent, which is typical on a shock. Thing is, I'm not expecting things to be new. You know, it's bloody, I don't know, 1990. It's just too old. What? Now, what are you doing? However, why don't people repair things properly? They're such bodgers. They've got no idea. It might not work. Well, I'm not disputing that. It might be just shite. But at least just repair it properly. I mean, you don't need to be an engineer. Well, it does help. No, not engineer. You just need some freaking common sense. Anyway, I don't think that's going to be very good, because the end's really worn. That bushing in there. As soon as I put it down here, that's probably why grease was in there. Anyway, let's put a little bit of silicone oil. Let's see what happens. I'll put some thick oil in. Hopefully it won't come out. So there's a bit of oil and grease in there. Seems alright, but it does leak. So I don't know. They might need to go upside down, but They look crap upside down, don't they, shock absorbers? Yeah. Anyway, let's try. I'll install. These are going to be for the front, so let me see if I can get them on there. So the shock is together. You can see if I show you that movement there. Look, that's the play in the bottom bush. But I suppose it will work for now. There's a bit of resistance there. It's not great. It's probably not as good as these ones. At least these work. So you never know. But anyway, that's one. That took long enough. Is it leaking? Yeah, it's going to leak. Well, we'll see how we get on. Right, build the other one, and then I'm going to attempt to put it on the car. Hopefully they'll fit. Hopefully they'll fit. Yeah, they should fit. Right, onwards and greasewards. There's the fronts on. I sense some cheap Chinese shocks incoming. They're not great. They'll do for now. That's the fronts all clean. Let's put it together. This one shouldn't be too bad. Back to a roller. It's gone together quite nice. The shocks are shocking. Shocking shocks. Backs work not too bad. They're okay. The fronts don't work at all, and they leak. So they're leaking, so there's not much I can do about that. Other than I'll have to get some Chinese aluminium shocks. I'll probably go for. Get them for about like $20. I'll just get the open and close length, and I'll do that and order them, and then change them. You might as well get a set. Well, they're coming in fours, aren't they? So it's nice and smooth. Rear diffs tight. It'll do for now. So that's that bit done. Quite pleased with that. That will end this part. What's next? I hear you cry. This is what's next. The bit that will determine. I haven't spent any money on this yet. So I'll leave that like that, so you can see it. This has got to be stripped, and then we're going to fit the engine. And once that's on, it's got a fathom of fuel tank, and then we'll go from there. I quite like these old Nitros. They've just got character. You start getting to the modern buggy. I've got an MP6 there. That's so old, isn't it? But I don't know. It's too perfect. There are things like this, you know. It's quite. I mean, I'll be interested to see if this goes. That would be a good thing. We'll get some cheap servos in it if this fires. Clearly, the front needs to be changed because although it looks alright, the buggy body doesn't come down. It sort of sticks out, doesn't it? Unless it drops down, I'd have to see. I mean, looking at the other the other body shells. I've got like an MP5 up there, which is an old, which will need painting. But the problem with that is the hole for the engine's on the wrong side. It's on this side. Anyway, for part 3, we'll get this stripped down as far as I can go with it, as necessary, cleaned, and just put back together. That's not always as easy as it sounds, but it doesn't look absolutely shagged. So we should be okay with this. Better see what it's got. It hasn't obviously been used like forever, but we'll get that together. Got the exhaust here. That will clearly go on sort of like here. Very antiquated. It should work. It should work. The fuel tank isn't the fuel tank that comes with this. But if I clean it out, it'll still work. I don't know. I mean, it was fitted, I think, at an angle. I think here like this. I don't know. This ain't the one, is it? This can't be the one for this. No, nothing lines up. Well, it would go like that. I can use that hole, maybe put another hole in the chassis, because it is only aluminium. I did drill the front, it's not that hard. So just as a mark it, so that it's in there. Look, ideally it could do with being up there, but there's nothing. It'd fit like that. It's only a small tank. You can't go that far, but you can go. It's got the shape to go in there, so I could use that and just drill another hole. That's what I'll probably do. In part 3, we start the build process of the engine. What do you think? Do you like? I mean, do you like old buggies? Well, I've got to put, actually, before I forget, the C-clips on these pins here. Don't want to forget them. That rear wing's not going to work as a adaptive rear wing. That's not really a problem. But yeah, do you like these? Do you like these old dinosaurs? It would be interesting to watch it go and control it. So, you know, it's probably not going to be very quick, but it's not about that, is it? It's just about. Actually, I think I put the front bumper on wrong. It's actually got to go underneath. I'll change that. I'll do that now, and you'll see that in the next video. That's supposed to go. You don't have it there, do you? It goes underneath the chassis. Anyway, into part 2. Part 3 will be this, and we'll hopefully get it to a point where it can be started. That's the plan. See how I go. I might even get the part 3 will be the sort of a start, if it fires, a start video, and then, well, then we'll have to spend a little bit of money, some like servos, power, receiver, battery pack, and then a body shell from somewhere. Yeah, so anyway, I'll see you on part 3. Hope you enjoyed that part. Let me know thoughts, and I'll see you soon. TTFN.